fairly quickly. If you've ever thought, I kind of thought of going, but then I went through this really horrible depression through Christmas, and the day after Christmas I came in and they were standing there, and I said, why the heck not? Bought myself a ticket for my birthday. And it did. It made a huge difference for me. I've been to Haiti and I've been to New Orleans after disasters. And the attitude, and I've been to Africa, and the attitude kind of is, here's the rich white people come to throw money and solve the problems. Please, hand us your money and solve our problems. That is exactly not the case in Nicaragua. They're so happy to have people and grateful that care about their children enough to make sure that they get an education. And for me, it was especially touching because I have a deaf daughter, and 5 of the kids are deaf. Well, more than 5, but the 5 that we saw a lot are deaf. And they were so wonderful to us. Honestly, if I didn't have a husband and ties here, I would have come home and sold my stuff, and I would be down there living and working at that school.
Did your daughter go with you?
No, no. I loved every single second that I was there, and I felt safe the whole time. I never felt, but we haven't moved through the slides yet.
Okay.
I was so proud of myself for getting here early.
I know.
You knew.
And by the way, the only thing that I own that's red is a sweatshirt with Mickey Mouse and a Santa hat on it. So I just said, you just get my cheerful personality this morning. So we arrive, and our first, which is unlike any Best Western I've ever seen. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a resort and a pool. They have wonderful food. Fried cheese, fried bananas, and galle pinto, which is a rice and beans, are the French fries and stuff of the United States. They come with everything, breakfast, whatever. They're their little side dishes in there. First time you take a bite and you don't realize it's a fried banana, and they're plantains, so they're a little bit they're sharper. They're wonderful. You just follow all the food, every tree you go to the place and have a yogurt drink, and the yogurt came from that cow, the coconut came from that tree, the mangoes came from that tree, and you will never have better food. And with the most expensive dinner, we were all complaining because it was 200 Cordova, which was like $8. And we had, I think, 3 beers apiece, and the fish came out of the river right there, and it was still one of the top 5 meals I've ever eaten.
Take your Social Security and live like a king.
Everybody was complaining that it was 200 Cordova, and I finally said, you guys realize it's like $8, you should stop now, right? So this was my cabana, and I got upgraded for no good reason. And I had a full living room, dining. I wanted to stay there for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, of course, we were just there from 12:30 in the morning
I know.
till about noon.
At the hallways for the rooms. We went into town to see the square, the museum, the cathedral, which I found to be, of course, amazing. They light it up at night, and I did not get back there for that. It's heavily damaged from an earthquake in 1972, so you can't go inside of it. And they have like guards standing around looking very official. But it's really beautiful. There's a little bit of my first glimpse of the colors. Everything is very, very bright and cheerful and colorful. And this is downtown Managua. The president has the streets lined with these trees, and this is the Ortega logo. They cost $17,000 a piece, and they apparently light up at night, and they're everywhere. You'll see. This used to be the public offices. And now it is a museum, and each of those rooms has pre-Columbian pots and all kinds of really great stuff in it. But I love these dancer thing that went around outside. That was my first spotting of Jerry Lear.
Long-tailed grackle.
Great-tailed grackle. They are the pigeons of Nicaragua. They come up to you and demand food, and they, quote, sing in the trees, and I was so excited to see a great-tailed grackle because we had one here a couple years ago out in Frenchland, and everybody drove out to see it. And believe me, I had my fill of them by the time I was done. So I was very excited. He was in Managua, and that was my first sighting. These guys were in the garden where all the flowers were. Their social flycat. No, I'm sorry. That's a rufous-necked wren, and they were really adorable and just about ate out of your hand. Then our bus came to get us. And believe me, that's the exterior. The interior, I got shotgun, which I realized everyone was being nice so I could have the front seat with my camera, but also that's right over the engine. And it was hot. But it was really fun. It was a great drive. And we headed out of town. You can see the trees on the sides. And Managua, that's the airport on the other side, that fence there. Managua is bustling and crazy and a lot like downtown Tijuana. All the roadsides, people are selling stuff. Fruit, vegetables. There's one section where guys are standing out there and they'll have a giant iguana by the tail. And they hold these sticks in their fingers, 5 or 6 sticks, and on the very end of each stick is a little parrot. And they're selling parrots, and on the way back I saw him, and a guy had a squirrel on his arm. And I asked Nola about that, and she said, well, they either eat them or they make them as pets. And I've gotten used to the birds and the iguanas, but the squirrel was a new thing. But this is very common. This was my first glimpse of Condega. We pulled in, and this is the town square. Now this town has no hot water, sometimes no water, but there is free Wi-Fi in that town square. Everybody you'll go through, be driving through the tobacco fields and up into the thing, and there'll be 10 by 12 concrete hut with a plastic chair and a hammock and a plastic chair outside and some little kids running around, chickens, cows. Somebody's got a cell phone.
Yeah, everybody's got a cell phone.
Everybody has a cell phone. They may have nothing else, but they have a cell phone. And everybody, one of the things that you realize quickly is that for the lack of what we would consider as creature comforts, everybody is really happy. The people there are very content. So this is the main hub of the town, and the Catholic Church is on the back side. All of our little hotel things are on this side, and then there's school and stores on the back. The ice cream store is directly across from there, and on the other side in Apple. And
Banana splits, banana splits for a little over $2.
Yes.
A real bargain.
Oh yeah, but a cone was 15. Yeah, 15. So it was less than 50 cents. It wasn't very good either, but it was there. So Condega is the largest town in Nicaragua, or the town in Nicaragua that has the largest airplane that has no airport. So you're down below and you look up on a hill and there's this tower which looks over the whole town, and that is a C-47, and it was a contraplane that was shot down over the river, and they hauled it up to the top of the hill and made a memorial park because this is a Sandinista town. And so that was fun. So I have a little better digs than the
Yeah. This is the $8 a night
7.
accommodation.
7.
Is it $7?
Yeah.
Oh,
7.
even better.
So the rooms are little kind of hovel rooms with a pallet, and then these are each section has a little bathroom, and the toilets are down like on the side there.
Is that a laundry hanging out there?
Yep, that's the laundry, and that was Rick and Sandy Negus's place. I was in between. There's an internet cafe, and then my place is next. This is my little sister. We met on the first night, and she is one of the children of the managers that live there, and she was teaching me how to get games on your tablet. Because she asked me if my tablet got games. And I said, no. She said, well, you should ask it for games. And I said, well, how do you do this? This is all going on in Spanish. And she grabs her tablet and she goes, Dámelo, juguetes. Give me the games. Up popped the games. So she picked one that was a salon, and we got to pick out feet and hands and a particular nail file, and you drag it across the hands, and it files them to the shape that you request. You get to pick the shape, and then you pick paint, and you paint your... Apparently it's very popular. But we fell in love with each other. So she would come in the morning and sing outside my door, Donde está mi amiga? And 3 days in, it was Donde está mi hermana? So it went from where's my friend to where's my sister.
You still hear from her? Sing?
Yes, we have it's like a Skype. Grackles. Grackles are everywhere. That's the kitchen. There's no real back wall. There's like wooden cane because it's so hot. And the birds just come in and clean off the counter and the, yeah. So there's a grackle on the stove. Iguanas are everywhere. He was up by the airport. This is Emily and her mother Angelica. And Emily is one of our deaf children. And she's amazing. We had a meeting with all of the families the first Sunday.
Is she going to the school there?
She goes, and you'll see I have some pictures of her in school too. And her mother's really sweet, and her father just passed away last year, I guess unexpectedly, but it was really sad. And they're really, you can see in their eyes, both of them, how kind and the world's showing them a little everywhere. They sing in the trees. This is right behind our place. So this is just one of the streets. It's a very, like I said, it's a very small town. Lots of crazy wiring and a lot of little motorcycles, and we could just wander anywhere we wanted, even at night. I could go up at night, get something, come back by myself. Well, I was never alone. You'll see that later. We went and did a little tour of the hospital, and these are two of the major problems there is dengue and chikungunya, which is also like mosquito-borne. I'll spare you the details, it's really nasty. So they're just waiting, and they wait, just like we do, although I bet they wait less time. This is the maternity ward where it's not really the ward, it's a dormitory. So the girls from out in the jungle, when they get close to delivery time, they come and live here. And they were all in a room, and they were knitting and drawing, and they just wait because it's too far out to try and come in if you're in labor. And the little hospital is right next door. And it's very cheerful, and you can see it's got mosquito netting up there, and everybody was happy. But again, look at the colors. Everything is really bright. We made a trip up to the pottery place where the ladies do the pottery, and it's all older ladies, and it was really wonderful. I usually just bring back postcards and maybe a hair clip. This time I had to take another suitcase from someone else because I had my carry-on full of pottery. It was amazing. So I brought back pottery for all my friends, and then I had a hand carry, and I had a cooking pot. So anyway, I did love the pottery. We toured the tobacco factories and or the cigar factories, and boy, if you ever thought you had a hard job, you should work here. This is the nice part. The sorting and stuff is really hot.
Wow, that's a cigar.
Yep, he's rolling cigars. And they were really nice. I asked first if I could take pictures, and they said yes, as long as it's not super close up. They didn't want labels or anything shown because they sell to different places, and each place is designating that they're proprietary, but they're really kind of not. So, and then we were wandering. This is our crew wandering down to the pizza place one night. But the light on the hills was just indescribable, and we were in the pizza place, and I looked around and I said, "Oh, it's so nice. They have this adorable tropical theme." And then I realized that's just the way it is. So we went over to Roberto Clark, which is the special needs school, and they were ready for us. Welcome our friends from Oregon. This is Yvette. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Okay, good. She runs the school pretty much. She is absolutely a pistol and just adorable. So here's the deaf classroom, and there's Emily, and Victor is next to the teacher, and then there's another teacher, and the other teacher's deaf, and this teacher's hearing. So they were signing their names to us. This actually is we ran over to the other school, and these are the children in the uniforms that you guys helped pay for. And they were all very happy. But that was not so this is not a special needs school. This is like regular elementary school, and it's right up the hill.
Such pretty children.
So they did a special dance for us, and this was sort of like there's a flea on a fly on a limb on a log on a, and each kid had a part. And so at the very end, Yvette was waving hers. I don't remember what she had, but they were very excited. All of these children are special needs, of autistic or developmentally disabled or deaf, a lot of different needs. I can still find the back end of the donkey with both hands blindfolded. So they were doing a pin the tail on the donkey, and they said, "Who wants to go first?" I said, "I do." And they thought that was just the most fun thing ever. So we got a special award for being nice people. And there was dancing, that's what, and now see, Henry.
Henry, you're right, Henry.
Like that PA system, he takes it home on a motorcycle. Computer, anything, because you can see, and people, well, part of the problem there is that they have a fence and everything, but they have a giant tree that even I could climb and get over the fence. So he's instituted a lunch program, and they have to lock everything up because otherwise people break in and steal all the food or anything of value.
Yeah.
So he will haul that system home and only brings it in on days where they know they're going to have special events. But you can see all the bright colors here. See the swing set and that crazy.
Look at that kid. Put a smile on that kid's face.
Look at those kids.
Right.
That's all Henry's doing. That place used to be gray and dark and dirty, and it is cleaned up, it's bright, it's cheerful, and you can tell those kids know that they are special children. And I don't mean special needs as far as that goes. He is amazing. I would go and work in that school if I could do it, just because I enjoyed every second there.
Could you do it 6 months a year anyway, Jim?
Well, my husband might miss me. My dogs would definitely miss me. Although I don't have any trouble apparently finding dogs. So this is the new office. So this is part of what we helped build, was to make this area into an office. And behind that white door is where he stores all the food. It's in his office. And we got to do the ribbon cutting for the it was for the office, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's a beautiful mural outside, and that red motorcycle in the corner is Henry's. That's how he gets around town. So we walked around. There's a resort that's about to reopen, and we got to walk around, and there was this kid. That is not a cigarette in his mouth, by the way. It's a lollipop. Washing his clothes. And I asked his mom if I could take a picture. I said, because you won't ever find an American teenager doing that. And he was really pleased to get his picture taken washing his clothes. But that's just the lifestyle, You want clean clothes, you better wash them yourself. More grapples.
Looks like he posed for that
Yeah.
one.
He was up there singing, and I had to dance around to make sure he was right in the right position, but I really liked him. This is the mayor, and we are having lunch in Las Vegas. So one of our favorite restaurants is with the Las Vegas. Fire department did a little bit of a tour and dedication, and that was some piece of equipment that he was moving while I was And that's the paid for it, but I'm pretty sure, the goal is to send money and buy local. If possible, sometimes you can't. Sometimes things have to be sent down. Right now, I think they're hoping to get the emergency rig fixed. Breakfast, this is where we had breakfast. This is the stove that they, in the restaurant that they cook all our breakfast on. And I can tell you, it's really yummy. It looks bad, but it's not. Nicaraguans have a really hard time obeying signs. This says don't put the candles here. I have another one, and it says don't put trash here, and there's everybody's put their trash bag right on the sign.
It's like our recycling bin.
Exactly. Don't put candles here. We did a quick tour of what was the
This
name
is
of?
the dormitory.
Yeah, it was, starts with a P.
Los Papitos.
Los Papitos, thank you.
Right.
And right now, they're turning it into medical clinic, which is as badly needed, I think, as the dorms. Maybe more so because there just aren't as many children anymore to house in the dorms. But those are the curtains that Kathy made. John was checking it out. We got into that room courtesy of someone's breaking and entering skills because somebody forgot the keys. And somebody has good breaking and entering skills.
Credit
Oh,
card
Jim.
business, I think, or what?
It was my gym card.
Yeah, something like that.
This is Christian. He is one of our deaf children. And he, he loves soccer, and he's a little behind from the other kids because he's had some problems getting into school. But we had a good time talking soccer. He's really big into football. But yeah, I could not resist. I asked to do a portrait of him. Emily and her guinea pig. So we went and visited, since we've transitioned from a dormitory to more of a foster program, and the children are being fostered with their relatives or a school teacher. We went to each place they're being fostered and got to meet the family, checked out their living area and stuff. And Emily has a pet guinea pig, and she really liked that. I really liked. She reminds me so much of my daughter. She's amazing. Victor is trying to convince me that we should trade. I should give him that camera, and he'll give me a parrot. So what happened was I traded him the use of the parrot, so I got to hold the parrot, and it took about 20 seconds for me to teach him the controls on that camera, and he was off to town. He took pictures of, they had probably 6 or 8 different kinds of animals there. They had guinea pigs, rabbits, chickens, ducks, parrots, cats, dogs, bunny. Yeah, so he was off taking pictures, and my job was to model the rabbit. That's now my Facebook icon. And we got back to had an evening meeting.
There's just animals all over the place.
Yep, and the grackles were singing on the roof of our John and I stayed in the place 2 doors down, Valdivino's.
Yeah, right.
Valdivino's.
That's the $10 a
Yeah.
night.
This is a graduating student who we met on the street. And we were just chatting. We just walk around town.
This is Kathy Ekman on the left, if you don't
Yeah,
recognize her.
yeah, that's Kathy. And that's Carlos, right?
Right, Carlos, right.
I stopped to take this picture because I loved the building and the laundry. And this little old lady came out, and I mean, it's hard to tell sometimes if people are 60 or 100, but I'm saying she's 80-ish. She looked like an apple doll, and I told her I loved her home. And she was so pleased, and she said, "Oh, this is not a house. It's my ranchita," because she had a rooster that was like this big. And he came strutting out, and she said, "It's my ranchita." But here you go. So one of the things you can't see is way up in the top corner there. There's a power meter. You got it's all sticks and mud in her laundry, but she was very, very pleased with her home. And it's, it just makes you take a step back and say, do I need that much? be happy. She was really happy. This is the town, I guess I'd say homeless guy, isn't he?
All right, yeah.
And he has all these rings on his hands, and if you have a ring on, he wants to touch rings with you. So he goes up and with everybody. You can see on his one. Now, what you can't see is behind his arm and his jacket there. See the black thing in between?
Machete.
That's the machete. So we gladly touch hands with him. He doesn't speak. I believe he's deaf also. I had heard he's deaf. He kind of grunts a little, but he's real friendly, wanders all around. Just walking my cow down the street. Very calm. Just walking my cow. There's, I absolutely no names coming to my head today. Oh, Vilma, another Vilma. And she's the mama, and she was frying bananas at the stove. So we rode 45 minutes maybe? And
Out in the country.
in the back, I was in the bed of a little pickup truck. And as you go along, if you see somebody that's going somewhere and they're on foot and they have a long journey, we just picked up people along the way, added to the back of the truck. They start out with 3 of us, ended up with 6 of us. And when we got there, here come the kids. They are running out, and they are super excited to see us because we're bringing them a pencil.
Because what?
We were bringing them a pencil. All of them. So you're looking at their playground.
This is their deaf school.
No, this is just a regular
This is a rector school.
regular school, and we paid for their uniforms and some of their supplies, and we brought big suitcases that had pencils, erasers, and crayons. But you're looking at all their playground and all the toys that they have to play with on their playground. Not even a soccer ball, which they probably have soccer balls by now, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
We could stand that. And that's Noah. And that's those kids, they love Noah. And this little girl right here in the purple, her name is Maribel. And we talked. She's kind of shy, and so we were off on the side talking. That little rascal behind her is not shy. He's part of the 3 Musketeers. Cello. His name's Cello. Which, because he's paler, he's that sort of like white boy. I got a nickname by the time I ended, and it started with Shella. One of the girls, I'll tell you that in a second. One of the girls, the one behind those 2 in the front, is very articulate in English, and she politely extended us a formal invitation to their promotion in December. The school year ends in December. And her name was Rachel. And when we were done and everybody was outside, Maribel came up to me and she said, well, we were chatting, and then I got back out in the truck, and she ran out and she threw her arms around me and said, Ginger, please come to my promotion. And I said, I will try, but if I can't, I will send you a card. So I'm going to make sure these kids all get cards. There's 5 or 6 of them graduating. The look on their faces is they wanted to see what it's like where we live. So I showed them the picture that I'd just taken in Chemalt, where only the Chemalt sign is showing at the top of the building. And the rest is covered in snow. And that's my iPhone, and that was their faces. It's like, whoa! So I'm going to go back a little. This school, you saw what they have. They have nothing. They didn't have any lights on. They have the stray, starving dogs wandering in and out of the classroom. But we were their guests. And so they made sure they had a liter of Coke in little glasses, so that every one of us got a little glass of Coke, because we were their honored guests. And those things are pretty priceless. There's the 3 Musketeers. But you can see the playground behind them. That's the playground. And that is the paper wasp nest that's hanging down in the walkway. And it was
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's gone now, I'm hoping. We talked to the fire department and said, can you go set fire to that thing? Because they have a special crew that does that. Just goes out to places and eradicates. Because this is right where the kids play. They're just... Pencils! Everybody gets pencils! Oh, that was on the way in, actually. A little out of order here. Black vultures. They were looking for John, but, you know.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Did they really look that blue? Because they're quite pretty.
No.
Okay.
Well,
They look blue to me.
yeah, they do look a little blue here. Might be
Yeah.
the transitioning in the
They're
monitor.
pretty from the neck down.
This was the painting on the library. The swirl on the rabbit, the evil rabbit, is covering up the third eye that used to be on the evil rabbit. And it was pretty terrifying. And people would actually walk off that sidewalk and out in the street because it was just creepy. So we killed the rabbit and a bunch of other stuff. Rabbits came off, and Kathy redid the rabbit, and it came out really adorable. That's my dog. Everywhere I went, that dog would show up. We could be across town having lunch, she'd be at the door, but at night, if I went anywhere, she would show up and walk me back to my room. So I'm working on, she's a street dog, there's lots of street dogs there, but she has a night home, and I'm buying her for 100 cord, which is $28, and I'm working on getting her home.
You'll have to teach her English when she gets here.
No, I'll just talk to her, I'll keep up my Spanish. I turned around, I was at the library, turned around, and she was just sitting there. And I said, excuse me. And I already won one contest with this picture.
I was
so.
gonna say, it looks like a pencil drawing.
Yes,
picture.
no, it was a patterns contest, and
Beautiful.
It is.
this lady and her husband came to sing for us while we were painting, and they were characters and a half, but I just loved her face.
Yeah.
Beautiful face.
Whoa.
The light at any given time was just stunning. That's the back hills. Oh, when we toured the cigar factories,
Cigars.
they gave us all cigars, including me. And there's no pictures of me smoking the cigars on there because I look like I'm dying. But they were vanilla flavored and sort of smelled like burning cookies. So apparently, you know, what happens in Condega stays on Facebook. Now, Friday morning was the first Friday in Lent, and they do the Passion through this, it's called the La Pasión. Through the streets is the Stations of the Cross. People get up at 3:30 because they have to go to work, and this takes 2 hours. That is a giant Jesus that 4 men are on a platform, and they stop at each station. It's a great honor to host as a business or a house, to host a station. The priest goes through, and they do it every Saturday, every Friday of Lent, and he gets to pick the houses you put in, and it changes every week. I only had those pictures. Well, I have a whole slate presentation that we have available that has all of it. It was, I thought I had this. Well, the little old ladies come in their shawls and dresses, and they kneel on the cobblestones at each stop through the whole thing. The singing is amazing, and it is just something that everyone should experience at least once in your life, because it is so powerful and so humbling and so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just breathtaking. I cried the whole time. It was so moving.
It's kind of amazing, because most all the people are with coats and hoods and all this, and here we are out there in our t-shirts.
Oh, because it had to be, what, 55 or 60?
Something like
Which
that.
they said it was the coldest they'd ever remembered it being. We were like,
Yeah.
they were looking at us like, what kind of freaks are you? But the little kids follow behind on bicycles, and it's pitch dark, and then it ends at the church, and everybody goes to work. Okay, here we are paying for school uniforms and medicine. Actually, this is the medicine part. The school uniforms. Yeah, this is for medicine. So there's some medicines that the government doesn't supply that are critical. Some of them are epilepsy medicines and stuff. And this couple are from the Pentecostal church?
I think it was.
Yeah, and they handle all that. They handle that program. And that was about, I think, $1,200 that went for different kids' medications that wouldn't normally, they just would be out of luck. Here we are paying for school uniforms. So the reason one of the main reasons that everybody goes in February, besides the fact that the weather's the nicest, is that the school year for them starts February 1st. So their summer vacation basically starts in December. And then they start back February 1st. So we get down there, and this nice guy gives us a couple weeks worth of credit for the school uniforms, and then we drop him a check. John was picking out, his casket, because that's just right, one of the stores there, and his ex-wife was all upset because he didn't have any plans in place in case he dropped dead in Nicaragua. And cremation is almost unheard of, we found out. Because we're like, we just have you cremated, bring you home with us. But they don't do that there. So he had to pick out a box just in case. Now, look at the happy library! While they were finishing up the library, I was out hunting the elusive national bird, and that is it.
Wow.
We found one. It's the Wadabaranka. It's a turquoise-browed mott-mott. And the guy that drove us up to the school in this truck, I paid him to take me back out into the jungle and walk a mile or so up a dried riverbed and found tons of great birds. But I told him I'd give him 20 cord more if we found a mott-mott. And we were on our way back and out of time, and one flew right past us, and we both jumped up, and so I gave him 50 cord extra because he was such a good birding guy. Look at that tiny tree. It's just a shame that the trees there are so small. This is just the way people live. I love that. Love that guy. It's one of my favorite pictures. A lot of great birds. Scissortail flycatcher. They were everywhere. They're so pretty. That was my little sister, and I was teaching her the Bye Bye Biplane song, which every child should know. Sister City dedication. So there's the now retired Mark Taylor and the Mayor Hito. And so in that town square, there was a plaque that they made in English. No? Yeah. English on one side, Spanish on the other side. It's a very famous poem by a very famous Nicaraguan whose tomb is over by that big cathedral that was at the beginning. And that's, boy, I wish I should have just videoed the whole trying to install that plaque.
What, there were four people there, and tape measures, all of this. It's quite an ordeal.
Oh, and then the first screw hole, something went wrong, and it ended up being glued, and it was amazing. Yeah, there was like 4 chiefs and no Indians. So this is the fire department came over on one of the last nights that we were there, and we had a big dinner with the fire department. And this was before everyone got rowdy and had fun. And then there was a flag that got made. In the logo on their trucks, in that black circle where there's nothing, it says Bend, Oregon, and stuff in it. It's really a great station.
Oh.
Waiting for me outside the ice cream store because we went to get ice cream. That's my girl. That's my new family there. You can see that was my room behind. We had a beautiful courtyard, and those grapefruit randomly just fell everywhere. And I was sitting there one day, and I said to the little girl in the striped, it's funny because she's always happy, and now when she has a sad face. And how did somebody else took the picture and put their thumb over the camera? I said I was hungry, and she ran over and grabbed a grapefruit and eat that. And I did it. It was really good. But if you're afraid of dirt, you probably shouldn't go there. So overall, it was really amazing. More grapples. Oh, I had one of those I had a social flycatcher that would come in. I don't think it shows the roof. It doesn't. The roofs aren't really roofs. They're just sticks, and they stack those terracotta tiles. And as they get broken or whatever, they just stack more. So there's like 3 or 4 layers. And randomly, they'll slip off and fall on the sidewalk, which is interesting. But there's a gap between the wall and the back, the shower wall, which was just kind of bricks, and one of those birds would come in and sit there when I was taking a shower and chat, and then come get water. Would come in the room. It was little. It wasn't like these guys. These guys they're big. And now we were heading back in our trusty little van. You can see the town square, and boy, I was not ready to go by then. Back to Esteli, which is the closest main town to Condega, and it is vastly different from Condega. And Rick had his final latte. Boy, I'll tell you, the food in Condega was, we never had any bad food, did we?
No.
Oh my
Bad
gosh.
food.
We had a lot of tacos.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist the beautiful coffee.
Yeah, the
No.
only thing we don't do is drink the water. That's,
Right, yeah, we didn't drink the water. And I kept a big bottle even for brushing your teeth. You know, just. So that was kind of funny because we all thought those cups were really lovely, and they had this weird curved handle. And Kathy's son is left-handed. And he absolutely almost couldn't even use the cup at all. It was really, really funny. We were blue because we were leaving. And I saw that on the wall, and I thought it was so cool. I didn't put the words in there. The words were already there. Which, by the way, if you don't speak Spanish, that means blue. And that's why we couldn't go to the park. I wanted to go because guess what? There's caves in that park, and you can do the bat fly out. And they have special tours, but that thing was erupting, and so the park was closed. So when we flew out, there was another one right behind it, and they were both erupting. So the chain was,
How far was that from Condega?
what was in Managua. So
Oh,
it was only about 10 minutes out of Managua, though. So it was 4 hours from Condega, but it's really close to the major city. That's Masaya.
125 miles, something like that.
Yeah, from Condega, but
Condega.
it's just below Managua, I think. And there's Nola. Nola has a heart for every living creature. And you could not go. We started, what was it? We started finding her. She had to put, it was, if she talked more than 30 seconds to someone she met on the street, because we couldn't go anywhere without, we'd have to plan an extra 10, 20 minutes for Nola running into people she knew.
I think she knew
did
everybody
she
in
go
the
down
town.
with you, or did
She
she live
lives
She
there.
lives there. She's been there since
Sure.
the early 60s. I think she started out in the Peace Corps and decided to stay there.
There she is, and there's Suzette. I named all the dogs. Well, I named most of the dogs. I couldn't name them all. There's a lot of street dogs. And that was our goodbye. We were done. So you were up at that airplane. That dog followed her. The living conditions where we were really awesome.